a distance, the world looks blue.
Life through the eyes of a young woman who knows how precious it really is.
I feel very lucky because I'm experiencing things that are here on this earth.
From a distance, there is harmony.
Kimberly Bergalis, a tragic victim of AIDS and an inspiring symbol of hope and courage in the face of death.
I like to think that, you know, God is watching out for me. I know he's there.
Now, for the first time, Kimberly shares her deepest fears and most secret dreams as she takes us with her on the trip of a lifetime.
It's the voice of hope. It's the voice of peace.
A current affairs special, The Fantastic Voyage.
It's the love of a rose. This is the song of every man.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Current Affair. Tonight, we have one of the most moving and inspiring stories you have ever seen. It's about a beautiful young woman who is facing a horrible death with courage and faith. Her name is Kimberly Bergalis. Kimberly may only have a short time to do a lot of living, and so A Current Affair went on a journey with her, a fantastic voyage, which gives us all a lesson in life. We'll be back with that in a moment.
From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land.
Please stand by for an important message for all senior citizens.
In November of 1989, the Medicare catastrophic bill was repealed by Congress. Now, many seniors who have Medicare supplement insurance are confused about what their policy will or will not cover.
With the government making all these changes, I really don't know how good my coverage is.
I was shocked to find out that my rates went up and my benefits went down.
The Association of Retired Americans, a nonprofit organization for seniors, is making a Medicare supplement comparison available to anyone over age 64. You will receive your comparison with absolutely no cost or obligation.
We want to be sure that we're covered as well as we can be.
It's hard to keep up with all the changes in Medicare.
An ARA representative will explain how the repeal of the catastrophic bill affects your existing Medicare supplement policy and will compare your policy to others that are available today.
Finally, I'll be able to see if my policy is good or not.
If I can get better coverage and save money too, I want to know about it.
Eliminate the guesswork. Make sure you've got the proper coverage and that you're not paying too much for your coverage. For your comparison, we urge you to call the toll-free number on your screen. This is a service of the Association of Retired Americans. To get your comparison with absolutely no obligation, call now.
Call now, and I'll make sure you get your Medicare supplement comparison from the Association of Retired Americans. You owe it to yourself to find out if you've got the proper coverage. To get your comparison, all you need to do is call the toll-free number on your screen.
Kimberly Bergalis is a young woman dying of AIDS, believed to have been contracted from her dentist. When we first met Kimberly, the source of her illness was a mystery which baffled medical experts. Now, as our Mary Hughes tells us, that mystery has been solved.
Yikes!
She looks like any other young girl enjoying the thrill of the ski slopes. But Kimberly will never have the things most of us take for granted.
Woo!
Here, Kimberly is getting her first look at the Grand Canyon. Sadly, it could be her last because, through a strange twist of fate, time is no longer on her side. We were able to take the young woman whose courage inspired us all on the trip of her life. Kimberly Bergalis is no ordinary young woman. She is a reluctant celebrity today, and she may have saved your life and mine. Kimberly has AIDS. Why she has AIDS is a mystery still confounding the medical community and raising questions that affect us all.
I never had a blood transfusion. I never engaged in, sexual activity. I never used IV drugs. So it it just didn't make any sense. You know, I spent nights, I mean, just tossing and turning and just trying to figure out how this could have happened. And then, you know, finally we thought about the dentist, and I thought that's the only person that I was exposed to that has AIDS. And, you know, that seemed like the only possibility.
I sent my child to have wisdom teeth removed. I didn't send her to have wisdom teeth removed and get AIDS and come home. Like my husband said, she wasn't killed outright. She was mortally wounded. It wasn't even a quiet, you know, fast death.
It was Dr. David Acker who removed Kimberly's wisdom teeth and who, unbeknownst to his patients, was dying of AIDS while he continued to practice. The accepted wisdom was that gloves and masks were sufficient to protect patients. No one in the medical community wanted to believe this was possible. Kimberly was subjected to endless grilling by authorities, reporters, and lawyers trying to discredit her, inquiries into her private life. Intimates, family, and friends were all questioned and tested for AIDS. It was easier to believe that Kimberly was lying than to contemplate the implications if her story were true. You are a virgin.
Yes.
At first, the medical community was skeptical about any connection between the two, but when further investigation revealed that 2 other patients treated here by Dr. Acker had also contracted AIDS, even the most skeptical began to believe her. What most convinced the Center for Disease Control and other medical agencies looking into this case was a new test called DNA sequencing. Apparently, when AIDS invades the human body, it becomes very individual. It is possible to take samples from one patient and another, compare the viruses in each, and get a kind of fingerprint. After analysis of blood samples from Dr. Acker, Kimberly, and 2 of his other patients, it became clear that Dr. Acker was very likely the source. What is the theory behind the transmission?
I think one of the greatest mysteries concerns the mechanism of transmission, if it in fact occurred. We think there are 2 possibilities. One was that the dentist in some way or another injured himself during the procedure, bled, and exposed the patient to the virus in his blood. The other possibility is that somehow he contaminated instruments with blood and the transmission occurred that way.
Exactly how the doctor may have exposed his patients will forever be uncertain, but medical records reveal that Dr. Acker was an admitted homosexual, knew he was ill, and was treating lesions in his mouth with his own instruments. Whether he ever sought advice from his peers on whether he should continue to practice is not clear, but records also reveal that, at least for a time, he falsified his name and occupation when seeking medical treatment. He told none of his patients of his condition. In a recent development, Kimberly won a $1 million settlement with Dr. Acker's malpractice insurance. As a result of Kimberly's case, the AMA and the ADA are calling for doctors with AIDS to voluntarily notify their patients. But Kimberly and her lawyers are calling for mandatory testing of healthcare workers and measures preventing healthcare workers with AIDS from operating on patients. Measures, of course, too late to save Kimberly's young life, but she believes if she can save other lives, the loss of hers will not have been in vain.
I don't want to suffer. I mean, whoever does, but if I have to, I will. You know, if that's what's going to happen, if I'm going to have cancer sores all over my face, I'm going to have, you know, I can't breathe, and then that's what I have to do. That's it. There's a reason, you know, and I just hope that God will give me the strength to be able to cope with something like that, and that my family can cope with it.
Kimberly has no doubts about life after death, but we were with her when she went on a journey to discover life before death.
Each time I do something, I walk away and think, that's the most exciting thing I've ever done.
It's the voice of hope. It's the voice of peace. It's the voice of every man.
We'll be back with the fantastic voyage of Kimberly Bergalis in a moment.
Panel Mart wants you to know a few facts. Fact. Panel Mart is having its annual Sweetheart Sale. Fact. It's a real sale. Fact. Panel Mart has the best selections and values on panels and molding. Shop and compare. Fact. Over a third of our 300 different panels are on sale. Fact. Panel Mart has a great selection of Homecrest cabinets. Quality at great prices. Fact. We're Northeast Indiana's largest Armstrong ceiling tile dealer. Fact. For over 23 years, our people and prices have made the difference. The facts prove it. Fantastic values at Panel Mart Sweetheart Sale. Now you know.
Something different for a change. Takaoka tonight.
You can save thousands on late model cars at both Tompkinson Superstores. Take a look at this 89 loaded LeBaron Premium Coupe for $79.91, only $133 a month. Or this 90 Plymouth Acclaim for $89.91, only $153 a month. Or this luxurious 90 Chrysler Fifth Avenue for $12,991. Shop Tompkinson Chrysler Plymouth North or Tompkinson Dodge South, or call us anytime on the exclusive hotline, 460-4646. Call now.
You may not think the gas you can save makes a difference, or the amount your whole neighborhood can save, or even your whole town. But when you see how much gas America can save every day when we all drive just 5 miles per hour slower, it's easy to see how the little bit you can do makes a lot of difference. President Bush hopes you'll do your part. Drive smart.
The tragedy of child abuse takes many forms, from verbal assaults to hurtful blows. But it is preventable, and we all have a role to play. If you know of a parent having difficulty, reach out, sit down and talk. And if you're having difficulty, get help for yourself. Talk to a friend. Sign up for a parenting class. Take time out. Don't take it out on your child.
Contact Daybreak and help prevent child abuse.
What would you do if you knew your life has been cut short? Kimberly Regalis is only 22 years old, but she has to face that question every day. Her answer is to do as much living as she can. Our Mary Hughes went with her on what is literally a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Kimberly looked so happy that day, it was hard to believe she was suffering from a fatal disease. One of the cruelest things about AIDS, it's such a roller coaster. There have been times when Kimberly's been unable to walk. She almost died of pneumocystic pneumonia, has suffered innumerable blood transfusions, and been subjected to drugs that make her ill.
You kind of go through the denial stage. When you feel good, you forget about it, you know, and you have to bring it back, you know, and it just doesn't seem real. You know, that I don't feel like I'm sick right now, but I know that if I were to catch a flu or a cold, it hits, and I think, oh my gosh, I'm sick. You know, am I going to get better? Is it just going to be worse? You know, I'll look at things like skiing. We went skiing yesterday, and I was thinking, this is so much fun, you know, and am I ever going to do it again? You know, I think about things like that.
I didn't expect her to be able to keep up like this. She shocks me a lot. She wears me down to where I'm just feeling exhausted, and she's still ready to go.
I like to think that, you know, God is watching out for me. I know he's there because I just have this strength to go on, and I think it comes from him. It has to. It's just not human strength, you know. It's just something so strong that keeps me going.
Kimberly had said she wanted to spend whatever time she had left doing things she'd always dreamed of. We told her to grab her best friend for the trip of her life. Living in Florida, Kimberly hadn't seen snow since she was 12 years old, and she really wanted to try skiing again. For some of us, this was a first.
Watch out! Oh. Wipe out.
Good.
Had you ever been skiing before?
No, never.
What'd you think about the ski instructor?
He's nice. He's a good instructor. I think
Cute,
Jim liked
huh?
him.
Yeah, I think Jim liked him a lot.
We're only really looking at about a third of the mountain here, too. All these runs and all the lifts you see are part of Park City.
When you think about things that you're missing today because of being sick, what do you think of?
Well, you know, like relationships. Geraldine has a boyfriend, and actually almost every single one of my friends is either dating someone or is engaged or married. And,
used to when I was little.
you know, it's, I think that's hard. It's kind of, sometimes you just kind of feel lonely. You know, I see people holding hands, and I think, gosh, you know, I really want that. I don't want to get involved. You know, I'm afraid, what if something happened to me and they'd lose me, and I wouldn't want them to go through it, but it gets kind of lonely inside sometimes. You know, yeah, I've got plenty of family and friends, and but I don't have a boyfriend, you know, and that's kind of hard sometimes.
Do you think about not being able to have a family, not being able to have children?
Yeah. I think I'm at that age now where those motherly instincts are kicking in, and when I see a baby, I'm like, oh, gosh.
Do you find it difficult sharing with her the good times you have with your boyfriend, knowing she can't have one?
Yeah, a lot. If we're all three together and he goes to put his arm around me or something like that, I find myself always backing up, and I feel very uncomfortable about it because I know how she thinks and how she wishes that she had a boyfriend.
Does that make you feel guilty that when you have things she can't have?
Yeah, I feel really, not so much now, but in the beginning I felt really guilty because I felt like that I had so many good things happening for me, and you know, I wondered why it was her.
Was this trip a little bittersweet in a way?
In a way, because you're not taking me on this trip because I'm such a wonderful person. I mean, it's...
Oh, yeah, we are.
Well, I mean, if I was fine, if I wasn't sick, this trip wouldn't have happened. But, you know, I hate when people think, oh, you know, they're taking the dying girl on the trip because it could be her last time, or... I don't want it to be like that, but it kind of is. You know, I may never have a chance to do this again.
While we were in the neighborhood, we thought we'd get a bird's eye view of the Grand Canyon.
You feel like you're flying. I think that's probably the closest thing to flying for a human being. I just felt like a bird, you know? You could go backwards, you can go forward. And because everything was so open, I felt like I was flying. I liked it. You don't realize how far down it really goes until you're in it, and then you look up, and it's just these mountains all around you, and it's nice. I feel very lucky because I'm experiencing things that are here on this earth. And, you know, once you leave, you don't come back. You're gone. And I'm very lucky. You know, I have no regrets. You know, I've just done a lot of things that I've always wanted to do. Each time I do something, I walk away and think, that's the most exciting thing I've ever done in my entire life. And then the next day, we'll do something else, like, oh, that's the most exciting thing I've ever done. You know, and it just keeps building and building. And to me, it was the best trip in my entire life. It's kind of like medicine, too, because I've never felt so good.
She looks great. She looks like this trip has really made her feel better.
Do you think it's been a nice distraction from all of the...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. I think it's good for her to get away from seeing herself on the news and reporters coming to our house, and just, yeah, the mail is really nice and everything, but just to be away from it and not have to feel like she has to read it every day and answer everybody.
When I'm home, you know, the phone's ringing, and I have a doctor's appointment, and I have to do this, and it's just all these little reminders. So when I went on this trip, it was just great to just kind of forget about it, you know, and be me again, not a person with AIDS.
Kimberly's greatest wish was to go hot air ballooning, so happens there was a hot air balloon festival not far away in Palm Springs.
I couldn't believe how big the balloons were. They looked so small up in the sky, and I was really excited. Then walking around and seeing them all start out just on the ground, this little pieces of fabric.
Look at that! That is amazing.
Neat colors.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Gorgeous. Look how big this thing is. Oh my God. That's too much. Look at all this. That one's really pretty too. Right on the clouds up there. I need to get another picture. I do too. This is great. You can see the plane up in the center of it. The scenery, you know, it's so beautiful. The mountains in the background and all the trees, and you know, it's hard to describe. You just feel just like no one can see you, you know, and you're just like one with nature. You know, you're like a bird, and you're just so free to just fly, and it's a nice feeling. When I was looking at the mountains and how they were formed, you know, I was thinking about how God, I mean, he's just so incredible, you know. And there's so many things in this world that are just so beautiful and so amazing, and you just wonder, how did he come up with this idea?
Watching Kimberly's balloon rising in the sky, for a moment I wished I could send her up forever, past what she'll have to face someday. I know that you're a very religious person. When you think about dying, what do you imagine?
I just think I'm gonna know, I'm gonna feel it. It's gonna be peaceful. And I think I'm gonna be looking forward to it. I think, you know, I could be wrong, but I just think that it's gonna be so, I'm gonna be suffering so much and be in so much pain that it's the way out. And I'm not afraid of that moment, but I'm afraid of just leaving everyone else, because my suffering will be over and I'll be at peace, and there'll be so much love, and you know, I'll see people that I haven't seen in a long time, friends that have died, but I think what's really, really painful is leaving, you know, just leaving my mom, my dad, my sisters. I don't want to leave them. I just want to be there. I want to see them graduate. I want to see them, my other sister, get married, and, you know, and I'm the one that was supposed to have the first grandchildren, and that's hard.
She tries to put herself in everybody else's place, and she thinks, well, if I had a daughter and I was losing a daughter, what would it feel like to me? And she doesn't want to do that to her parents or to her friends. But she never really talks about, like, she's really scared about it for herself.
Where do you imagine you go when you leave this earth? Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, my idea of this place, you know, is it's just beautiful, you know, just trees everywhere, and just such a beautiful place. There's no hatred, there's no crime, you know, just we're all on equal levels, and just, you know, I still picture the God having the white beard and the robes, and, you know, he's standing there, and there's a little lamb by his side, and a little bird comes and sits on his shoulder, and all the little children are around him, and so I'm not afraid of it, but it's leaving everyone behind, you know, and they're still in this world, and that's what I have a hard time with.
We'll be back in a moment.
Pain from just one sensitive tooth can start the domino effect. Pain can make you stop brushing, lead to plaque buildup, gingivitis, periodontal disease, even tooth loss. Sensodyne toothpaste helps stop the pain and the domino effect.
Believe it or not, I'll be the first to admit it. Palmolive isn't the only dishwashing liquid that softens hands while you do the dishes. I can think of at least one more. Palmolive Lemon Lime.
ripened raisins, Nestle milk chocolate. That's as good as it gets. Raisinets. Good and wholesome and more. She's always ready to pour. I'm always ready to catch some Raisinets. I want to catch some raisins. Ooh, they're all mine. Juicy raisins. Full of sunshine. Catch some Raisinets. Catch some Raisinets. Catch some Raisinets. I wanna catch some Raisinets. Catch some Raisinets.
Are you sure you can't stay, honey?
I really can't.
Your ticket, sir?
I've changed my mind.
Great. The bag.
When you want to change, only one diet soft drink has the great taste of Lyman.
Oh, honey, about staying, I've changed my mind.
Great.
I'm staying.
Clear Light Diet Sprite.
America at war in the Middle East. When fighting broke out on the far side of the world, it also hit close to home. As these events make a difference in your life, you need a news team with experience you can count on. Count on the experience of News 15 for complete coverage, special reports from the Gulf, and on the home front. See the difference experience makes. Turn to News 15, only on Wayne TV.
Now, let's take a look at what we have coming up for you.
Minister Tony Perino was supposed to care for his parishioners' souls, but Brother Tony was also interested in their bodies. He is an admitted sex addict who allegedly tried to have sex with 20 of his female churchgoers.
He put his arms around me, but then he started kissing me and asked me to have an affair with him.
The sins of brother love. That's tomorrow on A Current Affair. And we hope you enjoyed tonight's special on Kimberly Brigalis. I'm sure that you join all of us at A Current Affair in praying for a miracle or a cure for Kimberly and the thousands of others who are suffering from AIDS. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Good night.
It's the voice of hope. It's the voice of peace. It's the voice of every man.
Thousands of Wayne Township residents will be affected by some changes in the works at the Township Poor Relief Office. We'll tell you about those possible changes.
And we'll tell you about a new job for former congressional hopeful Rick Hawks.
Plus, we'll have a News 15 900 poll you can take part in.